The effect of poverty and racial profiling on the criminal justice system. In this video, we'll state statistics, events, and views of four completely different individuals of racial profiling and poverty. At the end of this video, we will ask, do you feel racial profiling and poverty affects criminal justice system today? More than 7 out of 10 arrests were made in wards 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. These wards are home to 9 out of 10 of African American residents. Arrests by ward 2009 and 2011.
19 out of 20 D.C. arrests are for nonviolent offenses. Arrests for violent and nonviolent offenses in D.C. from 2009 to 2011.
African Americans accounted for 8 out of 10 arrests. Whites represent 14%, blacks 83%, and 3% goes to other.
Simple possession as proportion of drug arrests from 2009 to 2011.
White, black, and Hispanic drivers who were stopped by police at similar rates. As you can see, the search rates for black and Hispanic drivers were dramatically higher than white drivers.
Brian Holmes, a taxi driver in Washington, D.C. We asked him, how do you feel about racial profiling and poverty in the D.C. area?
So, poverty is perpetuated, in my opinion, from what I've seen, by racial profiling, and not only racial profiling, but the justice system in general. Because, see, when you get locked up in America, you get the proverbial X on your back, and more, you cannot, especially with the advent of computers, etc., you cannot find a job. It's hard enough to find a job anyway, even with education. Also, that's another point. When you get arrested and disproportionately given large sentences, and I say that because if you check the statistics, white people that are arrested don't get the same sentences as black people do. Their sentences are much lighter, more frequently. Even though the same things that are done, same crimes that are done by blacks are done by whites in greater proportions. For instance, more white people buy crack than black people. Yet, what happens to them is they end up on a quote-unquote drug program as offered to them by the court rather than locking them away. And don't necessarily have the X on their back either. Whereas we get thrown away and locked up and the key is thrown away for us.
Do you feel the prison system itself is a big blame for racial profiling?
So, prison system now is a business in many states, and the racial profiling has stepped up to the point where the prison being on the stock exchange and being an ongoing business needs commitments from the prison business. The business owner of the prison tries to get commitments from the sheriff and various other judicial people to fill those prisons up and keep them full so that they can get the full reward from the government for having the prison, the full monetary reward. So some judges have actually been found and indicted for sending guys to prison who shouldn't have gone there just so that they could fill their quota. And there's 2 or 3 judges got indicted recently, a couple of years ago for that. So, you know, the prison system is a business, the school system is a business, and for the most part, Republicans try to push for nearly everything to be a business. And that's contributing to their wealthy friends' pockets. And then the kickback comes in the form of campaign contributions to those elected officials.
Did you know the Correctional Corporation of America told 48 states will purchase and manage your jails? In return, you, the state, must promise to keep your jails at least 90% full?
Aren't the police supposed to protect the public?
This is our friend Dennis Love. We asked him, do you feel that police officers harass the homeless just because they're less fortunate?
Come and harass you or harass people?
Harassing all the homeless people. You know, homeless people, they harass the homeless people. They come up here and tell somebody they barred and all that for no reason at all. You know, ain't nobody doing nothing up here but just standing around, you know, because everybody's homeless and they don't have, you know, finances to buy food, little such things like that, you know.
Who do you feel the police should be going after?
Got to get them people that's don't own, selling them drugs, things like that, you know, or killing somebody or raping somebody. That's the kind of job they need to supposed to have. But not come out here and harass people, you know, for no reason. They haven't done anything to you.
Did you know on August 1st, 2014, a police officer attacked a homeless man and shouted a racial slur towards him in DuPont Circle? He also threw his belongings into the street while using a spray bottle to spray all over the area as if the homeless man was filthy.
Was his actions justified?
My name is Alfred W. Cooper. I'm a retired drug enforcement agent out of South Florida, Miami, and with an extensive history of law enforcement, as well as owner of juvenile group homes and expert in juvenile delinquency.
The first question is, do you think racial profiling is an issue that exists in Maryland and the D.C. area?
Absolutely, not only in Maryland, but throughout the United States. It's an historical fact.
And also, how do you feel about the legal system? Do you think that it's fair for everyone, or?
Well, I don't believe it's fair. Money determines the money determines the type of services that you're going to get within the legal system. So, not having money to defend yourself can play a key role in whether or not it's going to be fair to you or not.
Okay, and the last one is 8 out of 10 arrests in the D.C. area were of African Americans. And what factors do you think contribute to this statistic?
Well, you have to look at the statistics because when you look at this area is predominantly black. So when you look at this area as well, you also have to consider that this area also has a very low, in some cases, an economic disparity with poverty and other things that play a role, lack of education. So you're going to have, of course, you're going to have a higher rate because this area is predominantly black.
Okay.
This is our fellow student Anthony Matthews, and we asked him, what connections do you see between poverty and crime?
Well, when people are usually in poverty, it's more of a likely chance that they'll go and do a crime because they don't have much and they want things that they don't have and they just can't buy them because they're in poverty.
Have you or anyone you know ever encountered a problem with racial profiling?
Yes.
Explain. Explain.
Explain. Well, one time I was with my friend DeAndre, and he is also of the African American descent. And we were riding bikes in Old Greenville, and we were sitting in like the center of Old Greenville, and we had our bikes beside us. And then a police officer came up to us, and he was Caucasian, and he came to us and asked us where we got our bikes from. We all just looked at each other like, what is he even talking about? We were like, we bought our bikes ourselves. And he was just like, oh, because we're looking for a bike. And said the person whose bike was stolen, it was stolen by an African American. I just wanted to ask you. And we all just got offended because of that, because that's just racist. Like just asking random people that. That's like me going up to a Caucasian person and asking him if he's murdered anyone.
So, do you feel racial profiling and poverty has affected our criminal justice system today? Have you ever been affected by racial profiling? Do you feel poverty affects criminal justice system?